This podcast is brought to you by WTOE Radio at throughoureyes.org.
Hi, this is Cheryl Echevarria of Echevarria Travel, your one-on-one travel agent making your travel dreams come true, home of the independent traveler. Whether you're sighted, blind, or disabled, whether you use a cane, guide dog, or sighted guide, Echevarria Travel will get you there safely. Come and learn more about traveling independently.
Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go. Come with me, let's go.
Hi, everybody, and it's Cheryl Echevarria, host of the Echevarria Travel Show. Can you believe it? Summer is already officially over. I can't believe it. We're in September now, and the kids went back to school today, or if it's Jewish holidays, they'll go back next week. And we're coming into, vacation-wise, Caribbean season. So tonight, we're talking all about Jamaica. So after the 2-minute break, I'm going to bring on John Nalewick from Sunset Resorts of Jamaica. But first, I'm just going to give you some heads up on the show. As you know, the show is run by the NFB, the Northeast chapter of the NFB in New Jersey. And like anything with our organization, this is run by donations from people like you, our listeners. If you like what you're listening to and you enjoy all of our shows every Wednesday of the month, please send a nice donation to the Northeast chapter of the NFB in New Jersey at 254 Spruce Street, Bloomfield, New Jersey, 07003. And we'll really appreciate it, and we really like to know what you think about our shows. Also, the call-in to speak to us tonight is 1-888-572-0141. And if you were listening last month, you heard my guest, Margo Downey from Buffalo, New York, on my show. And Margo has kindly decided to become my co-host. So I'm going to bring Margo on. She's on by phone. We don't have her on Skype yet. And John is on Skype, but we don't have any video on him. So if you're actually watching the show through YouTube or Ustream, you won't see anybody's pretty faces tonight. You'll just see pictures of people. So Margo, are you there?
I am here, and hello, Cheryl, John, and hello, everybody.
Well, John will be on right after our 2-minute break, but I want to thank you for being my co-host. I think it's going to be really exciting, and we're going to have a great time at this.
Well, I feel very honored that you asked me to be your co-host. Cheryl and I have been in various activities for quite a while, and I enjoyed being a guest last month talking about airlines and, of course, Disney and whatever else we could get into. I wanted to give a quick update about the airlines. We are gaining slowly more reports of airline issues. We have 3 guide dog issues on Southwest going from Buffalo to Orlando in July. We have 1 cane issue, and I want to ask that people, and we're going to talk about this later, but that people let us know about issues pertaining to airlines. And also there is still, I believe, a survey up on the NFB website that people can take about their trips on airlines. So we're doing a lot of things about that. The National Association of Guide Dog Users, of which I'm a board member, and I'm also president currently of the New York Association of Guide Dog Users, we're handling a lot of the guide dog issues, and Cheryl is handling other travel issues, but often they overlap, so the 2 divisions often work together. So don't anybody get confused. We'll figure out who'll do what. So, any other thing you want me to talk about, Cheryl?
Well, just give a little bit about yourself for those that didn't hear. You know, you mentioned that you're with the with NAGDU, and you're also the New York president of NAGDU. But just give a 1 or 2 minute description of yourself, and then we'll go to break and bring John on.
Okay, I'm also one of the commissioners at our Transportation Authority here in Buffalo, New York, and I'm on the Seniors Division Board of the National Federation of the Blind, and I'm secretary of the Travel and Tourism Division of the National Federation of the Blind, of which Miss Cheryl Echevarria is our awesome president. And I have a black lab guide dog. His name is Arrow. He's from the Seeing Eye in New Jersey, and he's my 4th dog. I live here in Buffalo and just do involved in a lot of activities, including my church. So, just a busy lady.
Well, that's good to be busy. It is very good. So now that we got our business out of the way about the NFB, we'll be discussing more about that about 10 minutes to 9 after we speak to our wonderful guests tonight. So we're going to go to a 2-minute break. When we come back, it's all about Jamaica. Talk to you soon.
Don't go anywhere. There'll be more show right after these messages.
Come with me, let's go.
And we're back. As I said, tonight is all about Jamaica, one of my places I haven't been to yet, but I hope to really, really soon. And we're speaking tonight with the Vice President of Sales, Mr. John Nalewick from Sunset Resorts of Jamaica. John, are you there?
Well, I certainly am, Cheryl, and it's so nice to be here with you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Well, we're just really pleased to be here and talk to your listeners about Jamaica and about the Sunset Resorts.
Well, why don't you give us a few minutes about who John Nalewick is? In fact, our radio station is produced in New Jersey, and I know you're originally from Newark, if I'm correct about that. And just give us a little bit about yourself and being the Vice President of Sales there.
Well, yes, I am actually the Vice President of Retail Sales. My good friend Steve Ford is the Vice President of Marketing and Sales. But I would say that I've been here in Jamaica for 39 years. And I came down here many years ago. I was actually very much in love with the music from a very early age. And I really wanted to come and see where it was made and see all those great personalities like Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and Toots and the Maytals and all of those kind of guys. And I just couldn't wait to get here. And when I got here, I just fell in love. As a matter of fact, when I landed at the airport in Montego Bay, I asked one of the drivers if they could take me to Negril. And they said, well, I haven't been down in Negril, but here's one guy over here we know that's been down there. So he took me out here, and he had been here maybe once or twice before. And I asked him where I could get the best hotel rates. And he took me up to the West End, which really had no hotels at that time, but they had family homes. And I met a very nice family that took me in, and I kind of fell in love with the family, and they, I guess, more or less fell in love with me, and we just had a great association, and we created a campground down there known as Whitebird Cottages, where after a few years, at any given time, you could find 150 people on the property, and Negril just broke out all over the place and became a really great destination. I eventually got involved with the JHTA, and I was the chairman of the marketing committee for the Negril area for many years, and also a great supporter of small hotels, as I know you are. And as time progressed, I met a very interesting gentleman by the name of Ian Carr and his lovely wife, Kathy, and they invited me to be part of the Sunset Experience, which has gone on for now almost 14 years. As a matter of fact, Sunset Beach Resort Spa and Water Park in Montego Bay has been running one of the highest occupancies out of any hotel in Jamaica over that long period of time.
Yes, in fact, good friends of ours, both Margo and myself, Edwin and Valerie White, and their daughter and grandson were just down there, and they couldn't say anything bad. They really loved it. It was their first time down in Jamaica. They felt really comfortable about it. So they really enjoyed the resort very much. So they give you guys all high fives and everything else.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and insofar as Sunset Beach is concerned, as well as our Negril property, it's a very casual, laid-back experience. We also have our Jamaica Grand, which is known as the National Hotel, and that's located right in the heart of Ocho Rios.
Can you give us a little bit about Jamaica, like what the areas of Ocho Rios and Negril and Montego Bay, the differences are, and why would somebody want to go to like Ocho Rios over Negril or Montego Bay? What are the differences that each area has?
Well, certainly I can do that. And Jamaica as a whole is really just a gem sitting in the center of the Caribbean. And I think, as I remember my history correct, when Christopher Columbus returned and went ahead in front of Queen Isabella, she asked him, "What is Jamaica like?" And he took a piece of paper and he crumbled it up and he tossed it out on the floor. He says, "It's like that. A bunch of mountains sitting right in the center of the Caribbean." And really and truly, we have our beautiful coast that goes all around Jamaica, but you go a mile off of the coast and you're going up. And you're going up into some of the most beautiful green hills you could imagine. And that's another good thing about Jamaica. Jamaica is known as the land of wood and water. So it's really great for your clients and travelers to visit Jamaica, because when you come here, I always recommend the first thing they do is get a nice glass of cold water, because our water comes up out of the hills and is some of the purest water you're going to find anywhere on the face of the earth. A really beautiful way to start your trip. Well, Jamaica, starting with Montego Bay, which is really where most of our visitors land. Actually, when you're flying into Montego Bay, the very first thing you see is Sunset Beach, which sits on its very own private peninsula. And as you land in Montego Bay, you will notice that Montego Bay is a very bustling little town, but we also have what is known as our hip strip, which is right in the center of town, where all the activities, the casinos and Margaritaville, and all these great places where you can go for entertainment. Montego Bay was really the first tourist destination in Jamaica. And surrounding Montego Bay are mountains and also lots of great attractions that you can come and enjoy. But our hotel, when you land in Montego Bay, is only 15 minutes from the airport. So as soon as you come and land, 15 minutes later, you're on a beautiful white sparkling beach. Now, Negril is about 1 hour from Montego Bay, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. If you're driving with me on a good day, I could probably get you there in about 45. but you'd be white knuckled all the way. Now, in about an hour and 15 minutes, you can get to Negril. And Negril is really the capital of casual, something very special. It's 7 miles of beautiful white sand beach and 3 to 6 miles of fascinating cliffs. We have our beach, what everybody knows about. As a matter of fact, if you have any movie buffs out there, you can look back on a lot of great movies, such as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. There's a great scene in the very beginning of that when they land on Jamaica and Kirk Douglas is standing there looking down that pristine beach that really looks as beautiful today. And the water is just gorgeous. I was out there this morning for my early morning swim. So we have our 7 miles of beach, which have lots of great hotels that I'm sure you're visitors are familiar with, such as sandals and couples, as well as numerous small hotels that are very interesting. And one of the reasons why our hotels in the Grill are so interesting is because we've had a bylaw here for many years that says no one can build anything higher or taller than the highest palm tree. So that's really made a lot of our hoteliers come up with some creative ideas to create some very interesting boutique hotels that fit so nicely into the environment. So that's our 7 miles of beach. Our 3 miles of cliff start right at the center of town, and it heads up to what we call our west end. And eventually you get to Rick's Cafe and our magnificent lighthouse. Our lighthouse is over 100 years old. And this is the western tip of Jamaica. So when you go up to the cliffs to watch the sunset, you're the last people in Jamaica to see that sun go down. And it's pretty fascinating because sometimes on a clear night, you can see a green flash just as the sun sets beneath the horizon. And the odd thing is that even when we have rain on rare occasion, on the West End, it's usually very clear and you can usually get a peek at the sunset.
Cool. John, I know that Lenny, our station manager, had a question. Lenny, did you want to ask him something?
Yeah. John, how are you, sir?
Just fine. Nice to hear.
I wanted to mention to you that it just brings back memories. How much has Jamaica changed since 1975? Because that was where I went for my honeymoon. When I went to Ocho Rios and I stayed at the Plantation Inn. Does that still exist?
Oh, yes, it is. As a matter of fact, our good friends over at Sandals have controlled that property for years, and it's just a beautiful property that's kept its understated luxury, and it looks probably very much the way it did when you were there, but probably more enhanced.
Yeah, I mean, I remember everything about it was just like you would expect from a exotic island. The only thing, and I'm not going to, I don't think I'll get anybody upset for saying this, but the only thing that freaked out my wife was the windows only had big slats for like as a shade. In other words, there was no such thing as a screen or anything. And
yeah, jalousie windows. I still have a few scars from the mosquito bites from the early days.
Right. Well, we had, I called it Mothra. We had a moth about the size of I don't know, a 50-pound turkey. I don't know. It was a huge thing in the bathroom, and she'll never forget that. That freaked her out. Besides the chameleons now and then climbing up the wall, but other than that, it was an absolutely beautiful and perfect honeymoon.
Well, I will tell you that we're all screened up now. As a matter of fact, and I'll tell you more about this as we go along, but I think if you wanted to capture what you had seen in 1975, you wanted to visit a place like our Sunset at the Palms in the Grill. This is an amazing place. This is over 80 beautiful treehouse-style cabins nestled in a manicured rainforest just across from our private beach. And believe me, when you check into your treehouse, you can close those windows, you can flip on the air conditioning, you can turn on your cable TV and call mom at home, or you can turn that all off. You can open up your windows that are so beautifully screened, and you can sit there and listen to all the crickets and the frogs. And it's just an amazing, amazing tropical experience. As a matter of fact, Sunset at the Palms has just been nominated as the best boutique hotel in Jamaica and the best boutique hotel in the entire Caribbean by the World Travel Association.
Wonderful.
It was wonderful, and I'll turn it back to Cheryl. I just wanted to say that the only other thing I remember, it was a long ride from the airport to Ocho Rios, and I just wonder if the people there have if they live any better than they did in 1975. Some of the shacks were amazing, or
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I'd like to speak about that a little bit, because I've been here a little bit longer than that, but just about that same period of time. And first of all, let me say that your trip to Ocho Rios and your trip to the Grill is much quicker now because we have a great highway that runs along the beautiful coastline. So it wouldn't be hardly as long a trip. In terms of people living better, and your comment about shacks and things, even in those days, I used to hear people comment about that. They say, oh, I'm going to a luxurious resort. I'm going by all these shacks and things. And I'll tell you something. I've often wanted to, and I often have brought people into these communities so they could meet. As a matter of fact, the Jamaica Tourist Board has a great program called Meet and Greet. But I used to do a lot of that on my own. And, from what looks like a shack from the road is actually a very nice and comfortable home. And the amazing thing, even though it may not be as luxurious as some of the things we expect, when you go into these homes, they are as clean as a whistle. And those floors used to be scrubbed every morning with a coconut brush just to really make it look perfect. Well, now, everybody has newer products that they use, so nobody's on the floor scrubbing with a coconut brush anymore. And Jamaica in general has really come to a whole new level. I will tell you that with the advent of all of our large hotels, such as Sandals and Couples and Sunset Resorts, a lot more people are plugged in and making a lot more money than they were making in those days. In those days, the economy was based on sugarcane and bauxite and things like this, and it kept a lot of people, out of the money-making business. But now we have all these great hotels and great managers and supervisors and online staff. That's the thing I think that really makes Jamaica so special, and our Sunset Resorts particularly special, is our staff. Our staff really knows how to show people what Jamaica's like just by giving them a big smile and telling them just how great they feel about being Jamaican.
Well, I'm sure, and it's a trip well worth it if you're going to go anywhere. And I'm not a traveler, and I'm so glad I saw that. Well, it's not my show; it is Cheryl's. I'm just going to one little quick thing because I just think it's funny. I also remember I flew from Jamaica, New York, to Jamaica, West Indies. Okay, and I remember and I was on Air Jamaica, and they had a fashion show for us when we were going there. Now, you have to remember, in 1975, the planes were like 2 seats on either side of the aisle. The headrests were very high, and these girls probably did not want to bother doing a fashion show. So I just remember these pretty girls running up and down as fast as they could, showing us you couldn't even see the dress, and before you know it, we were there. But that was just another thing I remember. Okay, Cheryl.
Well, that's interesting to say, and just let me interject and say that they really did enjoy doing those fashion shows. I knew a lot of those Air Jamaica flight attendants in those days, and they used to have a lot of fun doing it. And Jamaica, I tell you something, Jamaica Beauty is amazing. We've had at least a couple Miss Worlds, and I expect that we might even have one again this year. So please keep a lookout for that.
Okay, I have to say one more thing. Now you said that. I'm sorry, Cheryl, but no one can see your face, so they don't see you giving me your fist. The last thing I'll tell you is I still have the picture to this day. My wife will tell everybody that I upset her the most, that our receptionist, I took about a dozen pictures of her because she was so gorgeous, and that was on my honeymoon. Okay, you got it, Cheryl.
Put that on Facebook, okay?
Okay.
So I can post it as well. We all our hoteliers would love to see that.
Okay.
Anyway, John, as you and Lenny were talking, Lenny had actually put up the video that you had sent me about the Sunset Resort. So while you guys were talking, everybody was watching the video and seeing all 3 resorts and stuff like that. I want to get to the resorts, and I know Margo's been in the background there. Do you have any questions for John before I continue, Margo? Do you want to ask him any particular questions before?
Gosh,
I don't want to ignore you all
night. I think everything's really being presented. One question that I had, John, is how safe is Jamaica to travel around?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Well, first of all, the CHA, the Caribbean Hotel Association, says the north coast of Jamaica is one of the safest places in the entire Caribbean to come and visit. And I really believe that's true. Over all the years that I've had lots of involvement with guests, I've never seen anything like a car being broken in or a purse being snatched or anything like that. Back in the early days, I think people were a bit upset because, when you're on the beach, you would have vendors that would come and want to sell you some things, but even that's changed so dramatically. I think the Jamaica Tourist Board and the Jamaican government has done an excellent job in the early schooling of children and letting them know how much tourism is a part of daily life here in Jamaica. And also for the fact that so many Jamaicans now are in the hotel business, their children and their families all know about it and understand it. It's a really safe place to come and visit. I recommend, and as a matter of fact, my boss, Ian Carr, he tells our guests when they arrive, get out and enjoy Jamaica. Get out and have a great time and really see all these great attractions, the Duns River Falls and the mountains and the diving and just on and on and on. And we really recommend that even when you're driving along the road, that you stop by a little shop and you have a drink or have some jerk chicken. Although, I have to say to you, at Sunset, we say we have the best jerk chicken in Jamaica. A lot of Jamaicans would say to you, that's a little bit like saying who's got the coldest red stripe. But I will tell you that when you come to Jamaica, you're going to get some great jerk chicken. And when you come to the Sunset Beach, you're going to get some award-winning jerk chicken. As a matter of fact, just a few years ago, we won the Jack Daniel's Barbecue Award as the best barbecue in the world.
Well, John, we have a caller. But Carla, if you could hold on until we come back from our hard break, we'll going to take a 4-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to bring the caller on, and then we got some interesting questions for you. So stay tuned, people, for more All About Jamaica tonight.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Keith Zhao, your announcer here at WTOE Radio Network. We're going to take a little bit long with this break to save our files for podcasts. So don't go anywhere because there'll be more of the Echevarria Travel Show in just a bit.
With me, let's go. Come with me, let's go.
We're back. I just want to remind everybody we are a live call-in talk radio show, and to speak to me, my guest, Margo, please call 1-888-572-0141, and you can, please, we'd love to hear from you. As I was saying before we went to break, we actually have Edwin White on. Him and his wife, Valerie, are not only friends of mine and Margo's, but they're also clients of mine. And they went to the Sunset Resort. So, Edwin, you there?
Yes, ma'am. I am here. How's everybody?
We're good, thank you.
We had a great time at the resort. I think we actually were very much left alone, and we enjoyed ourselves. We have other friends in Jamaica. We're friends with one of the contractors, the Roper family, who the young man that we were with. When he came to visit us at the hotel, the staff members were saying hi to him. He knew like 5 or 6 of them. We had such a great time because our family, my wife's niece got married. And I want to say Cheryl did a great job preparing our trip. Everything went well without a hitch. I do have one question, and that question is the timeshare system. I don't feel is doing justice to Jamaica with putting all these nice places that we have in Jamaica in their bank for us to be able to use, either for RCI or II.
John?
I want to know if that could possibly be addressed.
Well, in terms of what exactly, Ed?
In terms of them knowing that Jamaica is a destination place. I don't get the sense that when you call the timeshare people, Jamaica is not available. I mean, it's virtually, it may be one place or so in Jamaica available in any of those major products.
Yes, well, that's a great question. That's a great question, Ed, because in terms of, I don't know much about RCI, but in terms of Interval International, okay, until recently, we were the exclusive hotel used by Interval International, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, and Negril. Okay, so we have a great relationship with them. Their staff is fully trained on all three of our properties, so they're very knowledgeable. They can answer all your questions about each of our properties as well as what there is to do in Jamaica. So I think we're not hooked up with RCI at all, but we were exclusively with Interval International. And as a matter of fact, we just ended up with some brand new scores with them. The Sunset Beach had one of the highest scores that they ever recorded. It was up to about 93%, and Sunset of the Palms was 91%. So it's really, quite an amazing feat, and we're very happy for that clientele.
Great. We will be back in Jamaica again. We don't know exactly when, but I mean, it's just a wonderful city.
Well, Ed,
friendliness,
if I could just
warm, good reggae and warm water. Great. Thanks so much.
Well, Ed, we really appreciate you coming to Jamaica, and you made a great decision right off the top, okay, by picking Cheryl or picking any travel professional, because we really recommend, at Sunset Beach, we're an independent operated hotel. We're Jamaican owned and operated, okay? We really can't go on television and tell the world what love's got to do with it. We count on our travel agents, and we like to let our clients know, we don't spread our 800 number all over the place. Our travel agents are our partners. We trust them, they trust us. That's why we have such a great relationship. So keep on booking through a travel professional, especially our gal Cheryl, all right, and keep on booking Sunset.
Thank you, Ed, and we'll see you in October at our state convention.
Very well. Thanks so much.
So as we were trying to say before we went to break, and I'm going to let Margo ask some questions now, especially about the accessibility in Jamaica, and if to your best abilities you could ask them. Margo, did you want to chime in here?
Sure. I just have a question about Jamaican attitudes toward people with disabilities. Do many people with disabilities travel to Jamaica and around Jamaica? How accessible is Jamaica for blind people? Do the hotels have signage, or and just the general attitudes?
Well, that's a very good question as well, and I will tell you something about Jamaican people that I found out a long time ago. They are caregivers, right? Whether they're children, all right? We have our Club Mongoose at our hotels, to take care of children. And I got to tell you something, families are sometimes a little reluctant to leave their children in a strange place. But when they do leave them with our people, those kids don't want to come back. They don't want to come back with the parents. They want to stick out there and hang out with the playmakers. But that's just the general attitude about Jamaicans. They're great caregivers. And when you come to our hotel, if you are a blind person or you're handicapped at all, we do have some facilities set up for that, and we can put you on to a person that would be there, that would be your go-to person if you needed anything special. The thing about our hotel is we have lots of activities, we have lots of playmates that go around getting people riled up and having a good time. But the one thing we won't do is we won't come and get you. Okay, so if you want to go to a quiet spot, our resorts are big. You can find a nice quiet zone to hang out in and enjoy yourself. If you need some assistance and you're handicapped or blind, we would be certainly have someone that would be your go-to person that could show you just what the resort's all about. We also rent wheelchairs at our hotel too, so that's available for you, as well as we have rooms that are handicap facilities with shower access.
Do you have Braille signage on your rooms?
Say again, please.
Do you have Braille signage on the rooms, like the room numbers?
No, I don't believe we do. But the moment you mentioned that earlier, I made a big note here. Okay, so I'll be talking to our general managers about that, and we'll see about that as well. And incidentally, let me just take a quick moment and give a special greeting to you from our captains. You know, we have our general manager, Evan Bloomfield, in Montego Bay, who's been in this business for a very long time, and matter of fact, he just won Hotelier of the Year. We have our great friend Clifton Reeder, who's the general manager of our Jamaica Grand in Ocho Rios, who also has a wealth of experience. And I have my good friend Sharon Powell down here in Sunset of the Palms, where I'm located, who really runs this place like it's her backyard. You know, so you're really going to get a sense that people want to help you in whatever your needs are.
No, John,
we don't want to be taken care of, but if there's signage on the rooms, perhaps Braille menus, and things that would enhance someone's independence while traveling around Jamaica, that would be good.
Well, that's
Margo,
a great idea, and I've made some
John,
good notes
excuse me
on
one second. Margo, something like that, menus and stuff like that, I would contact the resort or contact John and say, can I get a couple of menus? And I would have somebody have the person that I work with in Alabama, Gail Smith, I would have her do all the brailing for me and send it out to the client. So I would make sure way before the client even got to the resort what they needed, and make sure that if Sunset didn't have it, I would make sure I would get it for them. But John, I wanted to ask you to speak about the accessibility for guide dogs. We were talking about this right before we got on the show, that I know that guide dogs are allowed into Jamaica via cruise ship now, but they're working on the entrance at the airports. Can you go into that a little bit?
Well, yes, I can a little bit. You know, the Ministry of Agriculture is, trying to keep up with all the scientific developments in the effective control and prevention of diseases such as canine rabies and things of that nature. You know, as a matter of fact, years ago, I got bit by a big German Shepherd, and I got so scared I was going to get rabies, and I ran down to the nurse, and the nurse said to me, hey, we don't have any rabies here. So they're very concerned about that. And right now, they're in discussion about this, and I'm told that something's going to come about in terms of disability assistance dogs, guide dogs, seeing eye dogs, dogs used in law enforcement, medical assistant dogs, including autism assistant dogs. So they're very much plugged into this. Of course, when you do come, you'll have to have a current official veterinary health certificate. You'll have to also have a certificate and registration as a service dog and a disability assistance dog. And the dog must be microchipped and vaccinated against rabies and have a current rabies vaccination certificate presented at that time.
Okay. The question that I was going to bring up now, my brain just went. Getting back to the resorts themselves, I know that there's a couple that are just couples only, and the other ones are just or for everybody in families. Can you let us know which are which?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you asked that question because my boss would really like this answered, okay? First of all, Sunset Resorts for many years has always been for everyone. okay? But just this year, we've made some dramatic changes. As a matter of fact, at the Sunset at the Palms and the Grill, as of December 24th, is going to be adults only. Adults only, okay? For the kind of adult that wants to go away and just escape from everything, this is going to be the place for them to come to. As so far as our large hotels, the Jamaica Grand and Sunset Beach Resort, Spa, and Water Park, that's for everyone to come and enjoy. And something very unusual has happened this year. You know, I told you Sunset Beach Resort, Spa, and Water Park is one of the most popular hotels in Jamaica. Well, my boss Ian Carr came up with a great idea this year, and we're actually splitting the hotel almost in half, okay? And we're creating a brand new hotel within a hotel, and that's going to be the Oasis at Sunset. It's going to be an amazing place, much more upscale than our other resorts. It'll have its own concierge on hand. It'll also allow people to have availability of Sunset Beach Resort, Spa, and Water Park as well, use all their restaurants. But the Oasis will sit on its own, have its own private natural beach. It will also have a library, an executive lounge. It'll be an a la carte breakfast served over there in the lunch area. It's just going to be something that really hasn't been done here before. It'll be a boutique hotel within a hotel. So those guests at Sunset, at the Oasis at Sunset, will be able to visit everything that's happening over Sunset Beach Resort, Spa, and Water Park. But the Oasis will be just for the Oasis customers alone. And that all starts beginning November 1st of this year, and we're quite excited about it. And like John was saying, they work really hard with travel agents. They're not out there advertising on their 1-800 number. So anything new and exciting coming up on Sunset Resorts or anything else that is out there, you know, you'll see it on my blog, you'll see it on Facebook, my e-newsletter. So if you're not, you know, listening to me or a customer yet or know anything about me, I'm just going to throw out my contact number, which is 631-456-5394. You could go to www.echevarriatravel.com, as well as we're on Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a blog, so whenever I have anything new, John is definitely, and my local rep, Adam McGregor, who's out here. He's my business development manager for the New York area. And anything new and exciting comes out from Sunset, I'm definitely going to post it out there for everybody. But I want to take this time to say thank you very much, John, for coming on tonight. And, you know, and explaining as much as possible about Jamaica, but especially about the Sunset Resorts in Jamaica. And I want to thank you for taking very good care of my clients down there. So, well, we're very happy to do that, and we want your clients to keep on coming. And I'm so glad you mentioned Adam, because without Adam, we probably wouldn't even have been able to be on this show. And you know, he's up there to work with you guys. As a matter of fact, he goes beyond his territory to work with clients, and you can bet if you have a client coming to Jamaica, Adam will make sure that they're doing real well too. Well, I want to say thank you and say good night. Margo, did you want to say good night to John before we?
Sure do. John, thank you. This has just been wonderful and refreshing, and I'm going to go sometime.
Well, I'm looking to see you.
Okay.
Well, take care, John, and I'll talk to you soon. And as soon as we have the recording of the show for you, I'll send it your way so your bosses and everybody can hear it.
Well, we have to give you good blessings from Jamaica, so you soon come now, okay?
Yes,
okay.
And Happy New Year, too. And
God
all the
bless you
listeners out there, it's Rosh Hashanah. I just want to wish everybody a happy Jewish New Year. We're not done yet, so as soon as we're finished saying good night to John, Margo and I are going to be talking about some future things and current events coming on. So, Margo, as we were saying at the beginning of the show, you were mentioning about NAGDU. Do you want to give the hotline number out so that way if people have issues with the airlines or traveling to any destination, or they could contact NAGDU?
Yep. The National Association of Guide Dog Users has a hotline. And when you call that hotline, and I'll give the number in just a moment, you can listen to information, audio programs on various aspects of guide dog law, etiquette, this kind of thing. You can also, if you're having a problem, like an access issue and all that, you can also leave a message or talk to someone. Number is 888-NAGDU, N-A-G-D-U, 411. Of course, when you dial it, you won't be able to dial the last one because it's only 7 digits. So it's NAGDU 41, but you remember it easier if you say NAGDU 411. So that's our hotline, and we do get calls on it. People listen to the information. People do call, and we do try to respond very quickly when they have issues. And what happens, too, is sometimes if you call and you'll be directed to your state's division if your state has a guide dog users division there. We have guide dog users divisions New York, New Jersey, Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan is developing one. I think Connecticut either has one or is developing it. We have several divisions, and they keep adding on. So I don't want to leave out anybody, but if there is a division or guide dog committee in the state from which you're calling, then we may direct you to that state and support what you're doing in that state to solve the issue.
I also wanted to give out the information about joining the Travel and Tourism Division as well. For more information about contacting myself or learning more about the National Federation of the Blind Travel and Tourism Division, you could go to www.nfbtravel.org. That's NFB and travel.org. NAGDU and Travel and Tourism are both on the NFBnet.org. That's NFBnet.org. You don't have to be a member of the NFB. You don't even have to be blind to be on our talk list to learn all about the NFB or different divisions or what we're talking about. That's our email talk list. And if you want to email any of the officers, because Margo's secretary, and Milton Taylor has been on in the past, and so is Maurice Shackelford. And we have an email, which is info, I-N-F-O, at nfbtravel.org. Really easy to reach us. So whether you're a guide dog user or not, I'm also a guide dog user. I'm a cane user. I go by sighted guide. Or, you could belong to both, or you just want to know about travel. And, those are the ways to join our divisions. A couple other things we wanted to discuss, aside from the survey and the issues going on with the airlines, is that, coming in the next couple of months coming up with this show, in October, I'm having the head of the Barbados, I guess it's the Disability Access for Tourism there. So Carrie-Ann Eiffel is going to be in the October show. And then in November, we're going to have the president of of NAGDU, Marian Guizdala, is going to be with us for the full hour. So if you have questions traveling, it's all going to be travel related. So if you have issues or questions about guide dogs and traveling to different destinations and stuff, cruise, airlines, anything, he'll be on to talk all about NAGDU. And then in December, if you'd like to be a guest and talk with us, you don't have to be like John Nalewick from Sunset Beach Resorts. You want to come on and talk about your experiences and give that to other blind people that want to travel. Great. We want to hear from you. This is a talk radio program. So, Margo, do do you want to give us any heads up of what's going on up in Buffalo, working as the commissioner up there? Any changes up in the Buffalo transportation?
Not really at this time, but we are, one of the things that is happening, though, that will directly affect public transportation is on Main Street. For the longest time on a part of Main Street, there has been no traffic because, and the only thing that's been on there is the Metro Rail train. But now the traffic is slowly coming back onto Main Street, and so there will be cars and the Metro Rail on the same kind of part of the street. But the way they have it arranged, and I'm going to go to a street meeting, we're calling it, to see how it actually works, is that you'll cross the street and the cars and the train will kind of be in a line, and you won't be interfered as you cross the street. In other words, you're not going to bang into a car that's in the line waiting for the train to move. So right. It's going to be rather unique. There used to be traffic on Main Street here, but they took it away when they put the Metro Rail in. But now we're going to have a mix of both. They're landscaping that whole area, doing all kinds of things. Businesses will probably flourish even more. So that's kind of an interesting feat.
It seems it. I also want to throw it out there that if you're interested, we are having our first meeting of the Travel and Tourism Division of the year, because July is our national convention. And if anybody's interested in being in on our division teleconference meeting that we're having every month, it's September 30th at 8 o'clock p.m., and the information is available on our Travel and Tourism website. If it's not, I'll post it up there tomorrow with the teleconference number. Please come and join us. Anybody can be on the call. It's just if we're voting on something, unless you're a paid member, which is only $10 a year to join, you have a say, and we will be discussing our future fundraiser trip. Our first one is going on in October. We're going to Vegas and the national parks that you may have heard of, talk about it in the past. And we're looking for your input, meaning anybody listening, to where we go next year. So anyway, I want to say good night to Margo, and thank you for being my co-host. And we'll be talking again in October. So good night, everybody, and Happy New Year. Kids, get back to school now. Have a great day.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
The Echevarria Travel Show is brought to you by Echevarria Travel, home of the independent traveler since 2009, specializing in worldwide destinations for the blind community. For more information on Echevarria Travel, call Cheryl at 631-456-5394 or email her at reservations@echevarriatravel.com. All words, ideas, and contents expressed on this show are those of Cheryl Echevarria and not necessarily those of the National Federation of the Blind, the Northeast New Jersey chapter, or the WTOE Internet Radio Network. Until next time, I'm Keith Zally.
Let's go. Cruise like a Norwegian.
The previous WTOE radio podcast is a commercial-free version of our live broadcast brought to you every Wednesday evening starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at throughTHRUOureyes.org.